say a few words that what you are
Yes,
going to talk?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So my last talk, as you know, it was based on Vanaspatika, plant ecology, and I had given significant, presentation on various kinds of forests, particularly if you remember tropical forests, temporal and boreal forests, etc. I had defined, and then what is the importance of this forest that I wish to say again briefly, although I had described on that day, but once again I will define. However, I had also given a brief presentation about the Jainism point of view on Vanaspati Kai. And I had brought again on that day the Pran and Paryapti, as well as the other aspects of Vanaspati Kai, that is Pratishthit and Apratishthit, Pratyek Sharir, etc. So all these things we will realize when I will talk in today's my thing, rest of the presentation. As you know that we have 71 to 72% only oceans on our earth planet. So hardly we are left with about, you can say, 31% land. And out of that 31% of the land, only 30% of that land is actually occupied by forests. And in those forests, I had given definition of tropical, which is by and large near equator. Temporal means it is by and large to the North America, etc. And boreal is in cold regions. So now the important part is that these forests have very important actually positive aspect for human being. And so Bhagwan Mahavir told the importance of this aspect of life, that is Vanaspatikaya, not only for human being but for all kinds of creatures, all kinds of lives on our this planet. Can you believe that actually this, although small number, but you see 2.6 billion tons of carbon dioxide it is absorbed by these trees per year. Every year, how much? 2.6 billions of tons. So if the trees were not there, then you can assume that this our whole atmosphere will be full of carbon dioxide. And the oxygen, which is much more important for us, it will be diminished significantly. On the other hand, you know that because of these trees only, 86 millions green jobs are because of the trees. And many more, almost you can say 800 million people, that is 80 crore people, actually they spend part of their time in collecting either the wood or in producing the charcoal, that coal, and other kinds of products from the trees. And many more poor people, they spend their 90% of the time say that the forests are the some kind of a home. It is a habitat. I am audible. I am audible this time.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hello.
Yeah, you
Okay.
are audible.
Yeah.
You are audible.
Okay. Okay. So this is some kind of a home of the large number of people uh, in all over the globe. Not only I should say that in India or in other poor countries, but it is in by and large to the many countries. Now you can assume that this almost that 75% of the birds are species are living in the forests. 80% of amphibian, that is water as well as on the land, and 60% of mammals species are actually being covered by these forests. It means forest is home not only for human being but also for the animals, birds, mammals, and many other kinds of creatures. And you will be surprised, in spite of this much bonanza, benefits from the forests, people, because of their greed, their pride, they are doing so much. I mean, the violence against this Vanaspati Kai, and for no reason, they can actually get enough for their food, but because of the greed, they are spoiling all these forests. Since 1990, I'm very much sad to say 420 million hectares of forests have been already we have lost, because either they have been deforested or they have been converted it for the agriculture or by for the industrial sectors or some other reasons. An additional 100 million hectares of forest already now affected by the forest fires, pests, diseases, and the another technology which is coming, we call that invasive species, that is from another native place to this another native place. So by transferring the position or the native their location, they are creating so many other problems. Then we also have natural effects, droughts and floods also, and there are many other kinds of crime through the human activity. Would like to say the main driver of this whole deforestation and associated loss of this biodiversity is continues to be the agricultural expansion, particularly large scale commercial agriculture. This is very important. That's what I would like to underline to all of you. This commercial agriculture has actually different kind of thing, and that is what I'm going to explain in my today's presentation, how this commercial agriculture not actually required even, but there that is being conducted, and that is very, very harmful to the whole forests, including the for the particularly different kind of oil productions which are not good for us. So this is all is being done because of the greed. I would like to now say that what are the real causes for this deforestation as well as the causes for the degradation. The clear cutting of the whole logging for the logging and pulp wood, that is by which we make the manufacturing of the paper industries and other products. Then we have the timber also. So for that plantation of the timber, but they cut down the original big forests. Forests don't speak. The trees don't speak, but they feel, they know because of their Vanaspati. It is a one sense touch only, but it has four paryaptis. I told and I showed earlier the video also. They can listen us. They have the food photosynthesis process, and they can also have the sense, the sense of visibility kind of thing, that what we are doing, they can convert also into the different kind of karma. That is, they can give the blessings as well as they can give the cursing also. The large scale shifting of the whole cultivation from the, say, for example, the wheat production or maize production, corn, to the other kinds of mafiagiri in this thing. So forest actually are becoming some kind of a, I should say, either the GM for the food, okay, or this pasteurization, then this pest control, many kinds of things, and industries are coming over there. Then they put the fire. I mean, the whole trees or the bushes are fired to make the ash for the cement, etc., or for the charcoal production. Then large roads are coming up inside the forests. So the human being actually is coming in close interaction with the forest itself, and that is much more dangerous. And that's why the urban now expansion is there. Then in the natural disasters are also there. For example, volcano eruptions, the chemical things, industries are coming up, and they give the new kind of deformation in the land and the soil structure. Then the dams which are constructed, they produce the greenhouse gases, and that makes the whole, I mean, this global warming, etc. So there are many these kinds of problems. Similarly, for the degradation, the human beings are more responsible for directly or indirectly. For example, the overharvesting for the wood means timber, etc., which I told. Overgrazing is also going on. Then wildfire to burn the leaf litter and for the small plants. But now leaf canopy trees, they are intact, but they also many times the natural fires are there during the lightning, etc. They also give the fire and finish up the forests. I mean, in the you can say that from that the not only by these fires or by the oil pollution or the gas, etc. productions, that deforestation which is going on, so air pollution is also across the whole world. That is what we are seeing. So the various kinds of human activities are there, and these activities basically are the very harmful to the forests. I would like to give one example of Madagascar. It was very beautiful because 160 million years before, actually, it is split up. It is split up from the mainland and became another some kind of a ecosystem, and it was fully, I mean, covered by and large the with the trees, forest, and 95% of Madagascar now has reptiles. You see, the 89% of the its plants, 92% of mammals, all these. It was so beautiful Madagascar once upon a time, but because of the greed of the other developed countries, and they destroyed this whole the Madagascar. So this is a story. Madagascar actually came under the some kind of a, I should say, millionaire and billionaires people, rich community, and now we can say that almost 31% of all the different kind of species, lemurs, which is one of the our oldest ancestors, etc. We are in Malay. What I wish to say, not only the forest, but all those species, birds, animals, amphibians, mammals, they are also in trouble in Madagascar. On the other hand, there is one another example that in Tanzania, that the area which is covered by mangroves, you know that the mangroves, uh, they are the trees actually. They are the trees near oceans. See, this is very important role of mangroves, and these trees, they try to make the ocean's walls safeguard. They don't allow the erosion of the walls of the oceans. They stop because they are very close to oceans boundaries and their shores. And now, for example, just in last 30, 40 years, you can see in the hectares how many area it has already lost Tanzania. So because of this, because we are losing the mangroves and a number of trees are being cut, so much more actually oceans are expanding, and this happens, erosion is in keep on increasing. Erosion, I if you remember, I told last time, I mean, before the last Saturday when I was telling the physics of the non-violence, erosion is basically because of the reduction in the biomass, and when the reduction of biomass is because of the violence. So this again is the all the trees they are cutting very significantly in thousands of hectares. The land is being lost, and that's why the ocean levels are coming up. If you see worldwide scenario, I gave one example, but if you see the deforestation, the Brazil actually is in the top, and the next Indonesia. Now, why Indonesia? Why Brazil, etc.? They are proceeding towards this kind of hinsa, vanaspatika hinsa. There are reasons, and the reasons are very well now known, that because of the mafias on the one hand, the rich people, they have entered over there, and they are actually involved in deforestation, deforestation as well as the other kinds of activities. So deforestation, basically urbanization, agriculture and industrial development, which, and all this I could have agreed if it is for the good cause. Say, for example, for the giving the employment for to the poor, etc. But this deforestation for the agriculture and industrial development of a negative kind of a thing, not for a good positive agriculture. We will see in my today's this presentation itself. You can see first of all here itself that as the gold price goes up and up, the, actually the deforestation is keep on increasing. It means this is the case in the Guyana, and this whatever the shield was there by the trees now are being cut. Deforestation is keep on increasing as the gold price is increasing, and this is my one of the best slide for the, I mean, hinsa against the vanaspati ka. You see that poor countries or underdeveloped countries, they have been taken over by the rich people, and the gold mines and other things are keep on coming, and the for the greed. I mean, this is not a some kind of a positive aspect of urbanization or positive aspect of industry. So this is the one kind of thing where the next is positive effort is also. There are some organizations which I call them as a ecology community, and ecology community in Mozambique, they have played a very positive key role. You see, Mozambique was also on the same line of deforestation, killing the mammals and large number of species of birds and species of the vascular plants, etc. And they were being killed. But many community, ecology communities, trusts, organizations came forward, and they supported the people over there in Mozambique, and they stopped this killing of the mammals, particularly African elephants, etc., and many other birds, as well as the trees. Mozambique, I'm happy to say, because of this positive effort, stopping the violence against this plant ecology and the other creatures living inside, because these creatures have their habitat inside the forest itself. So if the forests are actually lost, means where they will go. This is a big always questions uh, among the ecology community. So they made a very good positive effort, and they could save the, I mean, creatures as well as the forest. There are natural effects, like, for example, fire, volcano effect activity, drought, and tropical storms, etc., which also finish up completely for years and years, hundreds of years, these forests. And you can see in the right side the volcanoes. But at the same time, much more than the natural disasters, human activities, we people are doing much more violence. And most of the our deforestation is, as I told, by the international economic forces. They are the in the process of the greed and luxurious lifestyle. They want to earn more and more from the forests. For example, the pulp, paper industries, gold mines, oil and natural gas mines, hydroelectric projects, deforestation for the this palm oil and soya oil. Large number of such kind of other things are coming up, and you will see that the dams which are constructed, they are living outgassing the whole greenhouse gases, particularly when carbon dioxide and methane are coming out, then it is dangerous for the newly born babies also. This is one another example in the Peru. I had been there, and you can say, witness of this kind of a situation. Just in few years, it has changed. You can see that in 2008 study this is done, and it was published in 2008, environmental research letters. And this is a oil and natural gas blocks are there. And because of this blocks, just in 2003, that is in 5 years only, the 52 active oil and gas concessions nearly, that is the 6 times to the condition which were existing in 2003. So in 5 years, much more US side and other, I mean, developed countries, the industrialists, they came over there and they are producing. So this oil, or what I should say, oil and gas, those industrialists, they want to earn much more money, and they want to become king on the world. It is what we have seen also, and we have been observing all over the globe. And they have the luxurious lifestyle, as well as they have the many other things which Bhagwan Mahavir always restricted, that we should not follow this. That's why actually I would like to remind you from my first talk that Panch Mahavrat, those vows which were given not only to Shraman but Shravak also, and we also have to follow. And among that, if the whole human culture were have followed that, then we could have not come to this stage. Or perhaps today I might have not be giving this kind of a lecture series on non-violence. I would like to give another example of Tanzania and many other, Brazil, etc., where the urbanization in the Brazil, and they have come always now close to the oceans. They have not only covered the uh, forest land, agriculture land, but even they have come close to the oceans. Similarly, in Tanzania, also this kind of activities of deforestation. Now, but the poor countries, like in the South America, etc., or in Africa, uh, they are forced by this developed countries industrialists to grow the various kinds of, the those seeds which are dangerous or for the other products. I would like to just briefly tell about this currently how much uh, tree cover area is there, and annual loss per annual, and uh, per year how much loss we are doing. You can see that the green is larger, that is tropical, which I told, than subtropical, temperate, and the boreal. This definition, again, you may like to see from my last lecture in the video also. And I briefly described definition today also. But if you see that the boreal, the loss on the left side scale, the minus is there. So 0 is the our original reference condition, the background data, and how much minus, how many trees are being actually cut every year. So this is for the trees of different types and the big trees. Now in boreal, generally we don't have because they are in the cold areas, but tropical and subtropical and temperate it is. But mostly the big trees are generally in the countries which are very close to the equator. Say, for example, South America, our Asia, and South America, or generally in the all those South Africa also, because large rains are there. So generally they are already, so large loss as a function of time. Just this is, you can see in 40, 50 years, we have lost so much land, so much trees. And similarly, now I would like to give a very good example, and I would like to request also to all of you, please remember by this slide, and if you can make a copy, please remember that is almost 10,000 years, that is Neolithic era, after the against large glacier maximum, the one which I defined in my earlier talk. We people revived our whole life, and we started the domestication of women, domestication of animals, and we were learning the process of the use of the fire, etc. So in Neolithic period, that is transformation from Paleolithic to Neolithic, the whole land was covered almost, you can see 57%. That is more than the 50% of the land area. The land area, I told, it is about 30%. The rest is the 70%, the ocean. So 57% of that 30% land was 10,000 years before present. It was almost that. Then almost 5,000 years. So in 5,000 years, the human was not cruel. Only 2% only came down. But starting the story from 1700 AD to now currently 2018, our this thing. So you can see 1700, 1900, and then now 2018 AD. You can see that in this 10,000 years, we have by and large lost 20% of the forests. This is a very sad story of human being. So I think that as human becoming more and more intelligent or talent, he is becoming more and more cruel to the nature. And this is the what big lesson we should learn that instead of our knowledge and experience for the bad cause, for the greed and deforestation and against the nature, we should make use of this knowledge as per the teaching of Mahavir for the positive effort, positive causes for the nature. But unfortunately, now it is high time to teach the lessons of the non-violence to the whole the whole globe, to the all people of the world. This is, you can see, increasing population density. Now people told me once when I was giving this talk, what we will do. This is the population is increasing, so we have to do the deforestation. We have to cut the trees. But when I gave example with quantitative number, that the population density per unit area, which is increasing, but how much you are using from the deforestation for the settling of the people and for the industrialization, then they were quite, because mostly it was not used. Of course, urbanization is there, but that was not as major cause as much the industrialization or the greed or for the gold mines or the oil and gas. So here you can see that the increasing population density, so land area per capita is keep on decreasing. Now we are not getting that. Why? Not because of the population density is increasing, but because the deforestation is also going on. And we can see here over the globe in the left side, the four main reasons which I have shown by the different colors, by the wildlife, okay, and the forestry products, just like timber, pulp for the paper, etc. And then the other kind of agricultural products which are not required, and the deforestation. So by and large, you can see that in the various countries, etc., or in tropical region and this temperate regions, the deforestation, okay, and the agriculture that is shifting to the agriculture. So basically, agriculture and deforestation and industrialization are the major reasons. Here is another example of carbon dioxide emission, just because now you realize what I'm saying. Please underline my this statement, because number of trees, density of the trees is coming down. That is, the biomass is coming down, it is reduced. So the capacity of the forest, which was to absorb carbon dioxide, is now keep on reducing. Now the carbon dioxide emission, which is released by the different countries, but who will absorb? There are no enough trees. So this is the big problem. And as a result, as a consequence of this, the emission carbon dioxide density is increasing, and even the plants which have capacity to absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen has come down. So all these countries, you can see that how much CO2 emission is by different countries is increasing. And this is not only by the cutting the trees, that is deforestation, but because of the industries, and they are doing the wildfire also. The here it is world data for the palm oil production. You can see here that this palm oil production is keep on increasing. See, I had told you in this my presentation that some big people or economic forces, they are forcing poor countries to grow the palm trees as well as soya farming. Now, this palm and coconut oil, already there are research reports in medical sciences, and even the many papers are already there, and they say that these oils are not good for health at all. But those people want to sell this at a lower price. It contains actually fats, which is the related directly linked to the heart disease. It actually increases our LDL cholesterol, which is the bad one, and even the triglyceride cells also. So these are the actually already known, and they are the risk factors for the heart disease. And even some governments are restricting, but it, it is being exported from one country to other country, and there are a lot of mafias are there. And so I, at least to our this audience, I will suggest that please, if you are using palm oil or even the soya oil, you may kindly like to stop because of their various negative effects. I would also like to show the soya oil also. That is how much kinds of different kinds of vegetable oil productions are there. You can see that currently the exponential growth, palm oil exponential growth by several millions of tons. See, almost by one order of magnitude increase roughly in last 50 to 60 years. It was almost less than 1 million ton or so. Now it is about to 70 million tons. And then next is the soya. In last 20, 30 years, it is catching up. Soybean oil is also very dangerous. I would like to say that recent new researches have already shown that soya oil actually not only leads to the obesity and diabetes, but could also affect our metabological systems conditions, and like austin, and it gives our brain, you see, Alzheimer's, what we say, forgetting nature, and it can even lead to finally dementia. It's a very big disease. So this kind of anxiety and all depressions. So these two oils, at least I'm not of this subject and I'm not expert, but whatever I have been reading, the reports, etc., I would like to suggest you to read more about that, and then you decide yourself and propagate my this message that at least this palm oil and soy oil, perhaps they are dangerous to the our health. This is another one picture, that how much land use for the palm oil production itself. You can say the word. Now, from where this land has come, you can ask yourself question. The land is not much available in India because large populations are there. We don't have much forest. We don't have much agricultural land. So already in poor countries in South America, Africa, etc., you can see now the land use has gone up, you see, by so millions of hectares suddenly. So it means some, and they are not owners. Unfortunately, owners are different people. So this is, and particularly this has gone in these two continents, South America as well as in South Africa and Indonesia and Tanzania, etc., etc., all these countries. Now, at the end, I would like to show you and warn the whole community. This lady is actually distributing to the other laborers some kind of a plant, uh, what we should say, the cutting. हमारे यहाँ बोलते हैं ना कली कलम जो होती है कलम of the, so this is a cassava, and cassava cutting is it always very dangerous. I've intentionally and with my interest to show you, I want to show this. So this is distributing among all other laborers, and they are planting in the land. This actually contains the cyanide, which is a poison. But this kind of plants are being used in preparing some kind of a drugs, whatever the people use in gutka and other products, etc. And it is so much dangerous things. We should be very, very much careful. And this kinds of we should oppose wherever you are, and we should restrict this kind of. We should force to the United Nations, but it is under silence. This kind of things. At the end, I would like to have your kind attention about the two recent research papers which have been published. One has been published in the Nature, and that says the title, Humans Are Driving 1 million species to extinction. See, and this is related to species. When I say, means not our animals, birds, etc., but it is all related to that as well as the plants. And basically, it is because of they say that agriculture is the major cause for that. Jeff sent me this whole paper. You can also download this paper and read very thoroughly. This paper is based on the United Nations, the report, and they have backed this paper also. The second paper, which is published in the Environment Journal, very highly reputed journal, and the Gary is published. He says one another very interesting title. He says that the plants are going extinct at least 500 times faster than if humans were not present over on this planet. They were not here. So I think whatever has been done is because of the presence of the human being. We people have created all the problems on this earth, on this planet. So with this, I would like to conclude actually my this first talk, that basically actually I should say the urbanization is one, but overpopulation, human luxurious lifestyle, and his greed are the three big enemies of this biodiversity, and particularly our plant ecology system. And we should try to do something intervention considering all these uh, parameters. I would like to say again, thank you very much. And I will end my this talk, and I will just in 2 minutes, I have to reload my another presentation. मेरी आवाज आ रही है? I'm audible?
Yes, you are audible. Can we have some questions in before we start this second topic?
I think we will take questions at the end for both the topics. Okay.
Okay.
We can spare half an hour for the questions today. We will finish.
Yeah, so Professor Rajmal Jain will take all the questions in the end,